All right, go.
Hi everyone, welcome to this West Africa TESOL Conference, September 2021. Today, I'm going to share with you a very interesting and important topic about using technology in the English classroom to promote learners' autonomy. Next slide. In this session, you will have the following program. So I will start by giving an introduction to the topic. After, I will give you a definition of the topic, learner's autonomy, and then we will see some different importance of promoting learner's autonomy. And I will share with you the best practices in promoting learner's autonomy. And finally, the conclusion. Next slide. So the session has the following objectives. At the end of the session, you will gain the best understanding of the following points. Building learners' autonomy, making learners more responsible of their learning, connect in class and outside class learning. Next slide. For the information, you have to know that this session is focused on the integration of technology to promote learners' autonomy, drawing from Cindy Me experience in sharing innovative learning experience in her global classroom presentation at TESOL 2021 convention. So where she talked about the future of online learning and where he described how he connect the world teacher using a specific platform with the kids. Next slide. And this session is describing my own experience in teaching and managing what we call the ESP, English for Specific Purpose, which is a program that I'm implementing with adult learners. Next slide. So let's get started. So with the introduction here, you can see point one. I'm going to talk about first the innovation in teaching the English language. So talking about innovation in this 21st century, technology is offering a lot of innovation in terms of teaching and learning the English language, especially in promoting learners' autonomy. So teachers around the world today need to use them as alternative means to connect in class and outside classroom, and then to promote learners' autonomy. So innovation in this 20th century in my country have challenges that teachers continue to overcome. So the challenges in terms of inequality in the access of internet services, I mean internet connection in some specific areas of the country. And even when we have access to internet services or internet connection, it's sometimes with low quality and which doesn't permit really teachers to conduct such kind of activity using educational technology to promote learners' autonomy. So the next point, adapting innovation to our daily teaching activities. So those who already have access to the internet services still have a great need in terms of capacity building because most of them really do not know how to use educational technology in the classroom, and they have lack of skill in the use of computer science, for example. So they need capacity building and to use efficiently the educational technology to conduct such kind of activity and to promote learners' autonomy. Next slide. So number two, we're going to define learner's autonomy. So for the definition, we have the definition given by Hardy Claude. So Hardy Claude said that learner's autonomy is when students take control and responsibility of their own learning, both in terms of what they learn and how they learn it. So I found that definition really interesting, particularly interesting, because she talked about taking control of the learning and also responsibility of their own learning. So these different 2 points are very important, especially those who are dealing with adult learners. This is the case I'm dealing with adult learners in my area in Sikaso. We have also another concept, another theory which can be used as a great support in our theory of learner's autonomy, which is the teacher's role described in the learner-centered learning by Schneider 2016. So you can have the point, some different point which can be considered a great support to learner's autonomy. Next slide. So let's talk about the importance of promoting learner's autonomy. So why do the teacher need to this theory of learner's autonomy in this 21st century? So the theory is very important for teachers because it encourages students or learners to drive their own learning. So this is what Schneider described in 2016. So it helps also the learners to be independent during their learning process, because talking about learners' autonomy is to give much more time to learners to perform different activities and take time to have reflection on the different activity before submitting them to the facilitator of teaching. So the process is important because it permits, it involves, learners to work collaboratively. So talking about learners' autonomy is not forcibly asking learners to work individually. It's something like we set conditions to learners and ask them to work with in collaboration with other learners to produce something important. So talking about learners' autonomy is not only asking learners to perform different activities alone, but it can be creating collaboration. So learners are independent. They feel free to conduct other learners in terms of doing assignment, organizing discussion, taking part in discussion session, etc. So the process is important because it encourages also learners to participate anonymously in different class activities. For example, in my teaching context, I noticed sometimes that there are a lot of learners who do not want to take part in some specific activities because they feel ashamed, they are very shy to express their opinion in some specific context. So how can teacher organize alternative way to involve this kind of learners? So technology is one of the best means you can do that to promote the autonomy. So by organizing anonymous activity, so learners can share experience and knowledge about specific topic through the educational technology. So the process is also important because it helps the learners to build confidence when solving the different activity. By taking part in different activity, the learners will feel confidence, will build confidence in terms of solving problem. Next slide. So now let's talk about the best practices in promoting learners' autonomy using educational technology. So in my context, it is very important for teachers to build capacity in the use of technology tool, educational technology tool, especially the learning management system, which are a really powerful tool to organize or to share content of the different programs with our learners. So in this slide, this session, you will discover very important tool which can permit learners, teachers, to develop or to develop content of their program and to share them with their learners. So one of the main learning management system is Canvas by Instructure. So these two can permit teachers around the world to share content, to organize class activity, to set quizzes, to set assignment, to organize discussion topic, open discussion topic, and share and involve learners to do these different activities. Next slide. So talking about learning management, we have another example, which is Schoology. Schoology also is a very important and very powerful tool which can help teachers to share the content of their program and to involve learners in interaction, organizing open discussion session, or even set quizzes and assignment and ask the learners to do them outside of the classroom. That's why we talked about at the beginning of the session, connecting in class and outside of classroom. Next slide. So the best practice is continue with the learning management tool. Here we have a learning platform. As we already stated at the beginning of this session, it is very important sometimes to involve learners in discussion session. And sometimes, as we already noticed, that some of the learners would like to participate in the discussion, but in a very anonymous way. So it is important for the teachers from time to time to initiate or organize anonymous activity, discussion topic, description, over exercises that the learners can have access through the different platforms and to perform them. So you have Padlet, which is a very important tool, which can permit teachers around the world to organize that kind of activity where the learners really do not need to identify themselves to take part in a specific discussion session or any other kind of activities. So here, Padlet is one of the main tools which can help us to do this kind of activity. The next slide. So the best practice is continue. For the last point, we have application. So WhatsApp. In my context, WhatsApp is a very important tool where students can use as the main gate, because creating WhatsApp group can permit the teacher to share the link of the different activities. As we already said, that sometimes learners or students do not need to have access to the platform using a specific account. You just need to follow the link of the different platform and then share opinion, share knowledge about specific topic. So to do that, WhatsApp is the main gate, and WhatsApp is the best element in my context where I am teaching adult. Next slide. Now, after talking about using the best practices of promoting learner's autonomy using technology tools, we're going to think about now what type of activities the teacher can organize or structure and to share with the learners to promote learners' autonomy. To share in the different platforms to promote learners' autonomy. So talking about type of activities, here you can notice that it's very important to diversify activities in terms of open discussion session, organizing open discussion session, setting assignment, setting quizzes, organizing collaborative writing assignment or even collaboration work between the learners. So all these are different activities that are available with the technology tools. So you can see, for example, here, some example of discussion session that I already organized and involve my learners to take part in it. So we have possibility to set assignment and organize the content with learners. They can do the assignment and then submit assignment to the learners anytime they like it and wherever they are. So they can take part to the quizzes from time to time and also organize collaboration between learners. Collaboration, as we already stated at the beginning of this presentation, talking about learner's autonomy is not only asking the learner to work alone, but learners, this is just to give condition to the learners to find out or to solve a situation. So to do that, learner can work in collaboration with other students or other learners. So we have very interesting collaborative tool that technology provides today for the best benefit of learners. The next slide. So now let's talk about motivation. So when we already have the technology, as I said at the beginning, teacher really need to have capacity building, know how to use efficiently the different technology to learning management or the other learning platform, how to set content, how to set quizzes, how to set assignment, how to organize open discussion, and how to involve learner in collaboration. And then you need also to motivate the learners to take part in this different activity. So how to do that? So the first things for a teacher is to cascade knowledge about the use of technology. Because when students do not know how to use the technology, they won't use it. They won't take part in different learning, different discussion topic that you will organize through the different learning platform. So the first thing is sharing with them the best practices of the content, the different educational technology, how to use them in the use of different devices. So in this slide, you can see, for example, depending on the availability of the different devices, some can have computer, some can have smartphone, and some can have tablet. So you need to teach them how they can have access to the content using a specific devices. Right, next slide. So motivation will go also with sharing more online resources. As we said that teachers have possibility to design content of the program, to develop content of the program and share them with learners. It is also important to include some link where the learner will have access to continue to learn progressively different topics which are related to what they are learning, because this can give more detail about different topic that you describe in your platform. So you can see here, for example, in this slide, we have some links which will guide the learners to learn more about the specific topic, and also making the different course material available online so that the learners can download the different material whenever they want to do that. Next slide. So for the last section, for the motivation, teacher need to provide positive feedback on the activities. On the different activities we will be assigning to the learners. So when you set an activity, be sure that you will be here to provide a feedback once the learner will submit the activity for correction, for grading. So here you can see an example. You ask the student to participate in a class activity and then share the content through the platform, and then you provide feedback, positive feedback on the different activity. These are the different ways you can motivate the learners to continue to use progressively the different technology to promote their own autonomy. Next slide. So to finish, I will say that learner's autonomy is an important theory in teaching the English language that teachers around the world need to use today in their English classroom. To promote that theory, learner's autonomy in the 21st century, teachers need to integrate technology tools into their daily teaching activity, and especially to continue with what we call capacity building in terms of how to develop content online, how to use different learning management system, how to use different learning platforms, and to share content with the learners. Next slide. So to finish, the last section of the conclusion, we have, as we already noticed, that this process largely contribute to training students for the best online learning practices. Because when we involve learners to do the different activities, they will feel confidence, they will gain confidence, they will build confidence to get enrolled in the different online courses and to promote their self-development. So the process is also a support for the learners to know how to deal with online courses. Next slide. So we are almost at the end of this session. So we have some reflection questions that I will be submitting to you. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, how often do you use technology to promote learners' autonomy in your English classroom? For the next question, what type of technology tool do you use for promoting learners' autonomy in your English classroom? Question number 3, how do you motivate your learner to use technology to promote their own autonomy? Question number 4, what are the main activities you can do with technology to promote learners' autonomy? Question number 5, what are the challenges we can have when using technology for promoting learners' autonomy? Next slide. Now we are at the end of this session, and your questions are welcome. Thank you for your attention.